What's going on, everybody? I'm Pierre Piscatelli, and I'm going to teach you all how to play Bennie and the Jets. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's long overdue, so let's get into it. I'm going to show you guys the introduction first. Actually, let me play it for you, just so you can see what you're up against here. So here's the intro. Let me show you guys what's going on here. So in the right hand, we're going to play D, F sharp, and B with 1, 2, and 5, just like that. And then the left hand is going to play a G octave, so G and G with pinky thumb. So you're left with a big 5-note chord between the two hands. And you want to play this with sort of a heavy separation. So they're not staccato, they're not like that, but they're obviously not legato, they're not connected. Right, so it's kind of like a heavy separation. They're heavy strikes with some air in between that you can feel, like you're stomping almost. And we're kind of pulling back and leaning back in terms of where we are on the beat. So if you're playing along with a metronome or drummer or practicing in that sort of fashion, you don't want to play right on the beat like this. It's going to sound a bit robotic. I'm pulling back, almost like I'm deliberately dragging and playing a little bit too slow, but still sticking with the click, right? Or the metronome. We call this playing on the back of the beat. It's a stylistic thing that just makes it better. So that's more like this. So I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm really like deliberately pulling back, almost like I'm on the verge of playing it incorrectly and missing one of the strikes. So that's the kind of feel that you want. If you haven't already done it, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It's so helpful with the growth of this channel. Thank you. What I showed you guys with the G octave in the left hand and that chord D, F sharp, B in the right hand happens 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, you're going to move your right hand up to E, octave with thumb and pinky, and you're going to go E, D, B, C. Practice this a few times. It takes a bit of aiming because there's a jump in there between the D and the B, right? That's a little bit of a jump. Okay, so just make sure that you're comfortable with that. And the next thing I have to teach you guys is what I just did in the left hand. I went G, F sharp. So I went down a half step. I struck G and then G, F sharp very quickly. So watch that again. Watch my left hand. Just like that. Now, we can move the left hand down another half step to F, still in octaves, and the right hand will be C, E, A. Like that. This is an F major 7. The previous chord was a G major 7, by the way. So these are just major 7 chords that are a whole step apart. And this one, you do get to strike it 8 times. So it's a symmetrical 2 bars or 4 bars, depending on what the beat is for you. But on the last one, we're going to let the left hand go F, G, like this. And that's going to lead us to the landing in the verse, which is this chord, A minor 7. And I think it is important to practice the landing because you don't want to just practice your intro and stop it abruptly. That's no fun. So you have to land on something. So that landing at the top of the verse is A octave in the left hand and G, C, E in the right hand. That's your A minor 7. So let me play the whole intro for you guys so you can see how all those parts work together, and then we'll move on to the verse. Okay, and there's the top of our verse. So this is when he says, "Hey kids," right? And the lyrics begin. So here's what the whole verse will sound like. So A minor 7, which I already taught you guys. And now the next thing we're going to do is play a D chord. So what we can do here is actually give up the octaves and just play a regular single D in the left hand. I'm playing the one that's 2 octaves below middle C here because I like how it sounds. And in the right hand, I'm playing F sharp A D, which is a nice inversion of a D major chord. Just like that. And then I'm going to play a plain G major chord. Just G in the left hand, G, B, D in the right hand. Then we're going to play an A flat diminished 7. It sounds like this. So I have A flat in my left hand, F, A flat, B, D in the right hand. And then back to the A minor 7, which you've already done. Back to D, which you've already done as well. And now a new chord, E minor. And I'm playing it this way. I have E in the left hand, G, B, E in the right hand. This is a nice inversion. And right here, there's some space. So Elton does a little bit of a fill. He does this. Like that. He turns it into an E minor 7 because in the right hand, he now plays G, D, G. And this D is the 7th of E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it gives the chord, a little more personality. And he's not singing at that moment. It's a little bit of a filler. So something like this. After that, he's going to go back to A minor 7, up to B minor 7. This is new for you guys. This is B left hand, A, D, F sharp right hand. And then plain C major, just like that, C, E, G, nothing fancy here. Although sometimes he will add the 2, like this. Or sometimes only play the 2. We call this a sus2. So getting rid of the 3rd in the C major chord, which is E, and bringing it down to D. So he'll play with this sometimes and go like, right, just for a little bit of extra pizzazz. Of course, for the sake of learning the chords, you should just play them as half notes or whole notes, right? Nothing fancy. Just holding them to get the position. But if you listen to Elton, he plays around with these chords, and he plays them differently every time. Sometimes he plays them as quarter notes, sometimes he plays them twice, sometimes he will flam, like he'll play the left hand first, then the right hand. So let me show you an example of what that looks like once you get comfortable with these chords. See, I rolled it, played it twice. There I separated the notes. There I played that chord a few times. So once you're really comfortable with them, like I said, you'll get bored just holding the chords and you'll want to add in some playful rhythms. There isn't one way that I could teach it to you because Elton improvises that. It's different every single time he plays. But use your ears and start with simple things like playing the chords just 2 times. And then maybe rolling the notes in the chord in your right hand like... There I rolled them downward. So that sort of variety will make it much more fun and more interesting. All right, it's time for the chorus. So I'm going to play this for you in its most basic form, and then I'll talk about the stuff that Elton does rhythmically to make it more interesting. So here we go. right there, we're back to the introduction, which is the same as the first thing I taught you, so no need to play that. So let's break this chorus down. Starting in the chorus, Elton makes great use of this rhythm, which is why you have to learn it. Watch this. So hands together, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Again, together, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And in the right hand, he toggles between two different variations of similar chords. And he does this for most of the chords in the chorus. So let me show you what that means. So the first thing we'll do in the chorus is play a G octave with the left hand. The right hand will play D, F sharp, B. You've done this before, right? It's the first chord of the song. But now I'm going to teach you a little variation, which is to add E natural with your second finger. So your right hand is now D, E, F sharp, B. So instead of just a G major 7, it has an E natural, which we call the 13. So like a G major 7, add 13, you could call it. And when Elton does this percussive rhythm, every other time he strikes with the right hand, he'll bring in that E natural. So watch my right hand. See, so here I played it. No, yes, no, yes, right? And it just gives a little bit of a subtle variation that's kind of cool. On the next chord, he'll do something similar. The left hand will come up to A in octaves, and the right hand will play C, E, A, which is an A minor triad, but it'll also go up to D, G, B, which is a G major triad. And he'll use that rhythm I taught you to go between those two chords once every other time. So this is an A minor chord. This is a G major triad, but still over A in the left hand, so we call it G over A. And here's how it looks with that rhythm. Again. And the next thing will be C octaves in the left hand, and just a plain C major triad in root position, C, E, G in the right hand. But then you're going to go to C, D, G, C sus 2, which we've done before, every other time in this rhythmic pattern, like this. One more time. Sus 2, normal, sus 2, normal. So here's what that part of the chorus looks like. This is difficult. I typically spend a lot of time on this with my students, but once you get that together, right, left, right, left, right, left, right pattern going, you're going to feel a whole lot better, and you'll be able to sort of cut and paste it mentally over all of these chord progressions, because it is very important. Now, after you do those three chords, you're going to go back to the G major 7, the first one. And then the second one again, the A minor. So you get to do that again, which is kind of cool. But now, when you move your left hand up to C, right, which you probably guessed we were going to do, right hand is on a C chord, you're going to sort of just play half notes now. So just strike the chord twice. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're not in that percussive pattern anymore. Now we're going to play D, so left hand D octave, right hand I like A, D, F sharp, that's a nice inversion. Play it twice. Move everything up to E minor, so left hand E octave, right hand B, E, G. Now keep the right hand on E minor, but move your left hand back down to D. So this is an E minor over D. And then we'll go back to C major. Play it twice. And now one of my favorite chords, keep the left hand on C, but bring your right hand down to B flat, D, F. This is a B flat major chord. And since we have a C down here in the root, we call it B flat over C. Like that. Once you do that, play the introduction. you're back to the intro. And you get to do it all again. That was essentially an introduction, a verse, a chorus, then it went back to the intro. So after that, you're going to do the verse again. You're going to do the chorus, and then you're going to do the intro again, the whole thing. Then after that, there's a piano solo, which, by the way, if you guys want to learn, let me know in the comments and I will make a video on that piano solo. But if you don't want to play the piano solo, you can just play the verse that I taught you guys, and it's the exact same thing that happens under that solo anyway. After that piano solo, there's another chorus, and then there's the ending. So the ending is the last thing we have to talk about. As far as the ending goes, it's the intro, right? It's the G major 7, and then the F major 7. So you already know it, but people are going to get really mad at me if I don't teach the organ line. So you guys know what I mean. There's this line that goes... So it's not really possible to play that line at the same time as... But there's some ways around that. So here's how that organ line goes. Beats 1 and 2 are rest, so 1, 2. So what I like to do is F sharp with 3, cross to 1 on G, 3 on B, 5 on D, back to B. Then, same thing, but now 2 on B, 3 on D, 5 on F sharp, 3 back to D. So you have this. Rest. Now for the third one, you're going to do 2 on G, cross to B with the thumb, 2 on D, 3 on F sharp, 5 on A, back to 3 on F sharp, like this. And for the descending part, this is kind of long. So I'm starting on A with 5 and then playing F sharp E D with 3, 2, 1. Like that. Then back up to E, and then moving my thumb to B, and now see my hand is kind of shifting. 5 on D, 3 on B, back to 5 on D, 3 on B again, A, G with 2, 1, and then I cross for F. So the whole thing again, rest, rest, rest. So how can you fit this in with your hands are already busy? What you can do, if you must, is ditch the right hand, right? Ditch those chords, and you can keep the left hand going on those quarter note G's and those quarter note F's, right? 8 times each. So it would be like this. Now when you're finished with that and you've moved your left hand down to F, there's something else that goes like this. So it's kind of like an organ or a synth or something. So what I like to do, it's just the notes C, F, G, C from bottom to top. I sort of play C with thumb, 2 on F, 3 on G, and then an octave above, pinky on C. I stretch and push the whole thing down. So it's something like this. F. Kind of cool. So in total, here we go. So unless you have 3 hands, that's the way to do it. Or, like I said a few minutes ago, You can just play the intro and let somebody else do that if you're playing it with somebody. So that's how you play Bennie and the Jets. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to learn that piano solo, like I said, just let me know in the comments and I'll make a video on that solo because I think that should be its own thing. That should be its own video tutorial. So let me know. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed. Please consider subscribing and I'll see you guys very soon.